Mic check 1 2 3. Mic check 1 2 3.
Mic check 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1.
Mic check 1 2 3 4.
Me, test 1 2 1 2.
When the schools get broken into and stuff gets taken.
This is Channel 2 News, coverage you can count on.
When the schools get broken into and stuff gets taken, it affects the kids.
After Hug High School discovered thousands of dollars worth of baseball equipment stolen, the community has stepped in to help. Crime Beat tops Channel 2 News at 6:30. Well, in Crime Beat, roughly $1,500 worth of baseballs, bats, uniforms even, were stolen from the equipment shed at Hug High School late last month. Good evening, I'm Kristen Remington.
And I'm Landon Miller. Thank you for joining us tonight. While school police continue to search for that missing gear, the team has been fielding calls from people who want to help them. Amanda Ketchledge is live at Hug High School with more on what the community is doing to help that team. Amanda?
Well, Landon, it didn't even take a full 24 hours before the school collected every single penny lost worth of equipment. And this just goes to show you that this theft has actually brought the community together, with local businesses and residents giving their generous donations after they found out what happened with this burglary. Late last month, a person walking by the baseball field first noticed there had been a burglary in the equipment shed at Hug High School. That's when school police were called to investigate.
It was an obvious break-in. The front of the shed had been broken into, and you could tell very quickly that somebody had gained access to the shed.
Someone had pried the siding off of our score booth and stolen about $1,500 worth of equipment out of there.
The thief took gloves, baseballs, bats, and uniforms donated by a local nonprofit. The new gear was something the team felt proud of after mismatched jerseys from the past years. And as you can imagine, when it was all taken away, the team was devastated.
It was really upsetting to them that someone would come in and do this from the community.
But others from the community stepped up after learning about the stolen equipment.
We were able to get enough money from some generous donors to secure the equipment that we need.
Now the players are excited for the next season of baseball.
It's kind of a big deal for us. We got our first win in several years, scoring a ton of runs this season. So we're really excited about the future, with the ability with this equipment.
And the school still hopes the person who stole the equipment will return it, or someone will come forward with information about the burglary.
Somebody saw something and somebody knows something.
And you can help by sharing what you know by calling Secret Witness at 322-4900. They are offering up a $500 reward for information leading to the arrest of the suspect or suspects involved. And hopefully with the donations given to these players, they can look forward to a great baseball season. Covering Crime Beat, Amanda Ketchledge, Channel 2 News.
All right, Amanda, thank you for that. And also in Crime Beat tonight, a $1,000 reward is now being offered for information leading to an arrest in connection with the commercial burglary at the Granite Construction Southeast Connector job site. Investigators believe that burglary happened sometime during the 4th of July weekend. Police say stolen items included generators, tools, and other construction equipment. And get this, all of that is valued at more than $100,000.
Secret Witness is also offering a $1,500 reward in connection with an armed robbery early yesterday morning. Reno police say a suspect entered the Chevron on Arlington Avenue just after midnight Tuesday, held an employee at gunpoint and demanded money. He's described as being 35 to 40, about 5'10", and wearing a hat, a dark-colored shirt, and jeans. If you know anything about the Granite construction burglary or the Chevron robbery, call Secret Witness at 322-4900. You can also text your tip to 847-411.
Sparks police have arrested a man suspected of fatally shooting someone last February. Investigators have arrested 19-year-old Samuel Turnow last week. Investigators say he is suspected of shooting 23-year-old Rodney Wright inside of a vehicle on Pyramid Way back on February 12th. He's been charged with involuntary manslaughter. Wright later passed away. Turnow was also arrested in connection with a robbery in May, but police do not believe that is related to this shooting.
Well, the Carson City Sheriff's Office is asking for help finding a teenager who ran away from home. Deputies say 14-year-old Jaden Krauser ran away from home on July 1st. She's 5'1" with blonde hair, which is dyed dark as you see, and blue eyes. She weighs about 120 pounds. Deputies do not suspect foul play in her disappearance, so if you do know where she is, call 887-2677.
Now, here's Chief Meteorologist Mike Alger's first look at the Pinpoint 2 forecast.
Well, the skies are going to stay blue pretty much right through the next forecast period of 7 days. What is going to change, and we've seen change up throughout the week, is our temperature is going to rise a little bit more tomorrow. And then by the time we get into the weekend, they're going to start to fall off. Now, with the falling temperatures will probably come a little more wind across the region. Not so much today. We've had fairly light winds. The wind gauge in the next 24 hours is going to be fairly light as well. You can see we've got a little bit of west wind overnight that's going to drop off, kind of fall off to nothing. You can see that Washoe Zephyr come up probably about 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So winds, for the most part, are going to be fairly light with just a little bit of a push a little bit later on. Temperature-wise today, we got up to 94 degrees. That was after an 89 yesterday and a low 80 the day before. So we have been watching our temperatures rise pretty steadily and likely to go up another degree tomorrow here. If you look at the satellite and radar, there's just nothing here within 2-3 states of us, and it's not likely to change much tomorrow either. Next 24 hours in the future satellite and radar, you can see that storm track going way up into northern Washington, and by the time we get to tomorrow afternoon, you just about have to go to another country to find your first cloud as everything builds up here. Now, we do have a little low that's going to drop down, get close enough to kick up some wind over the weekend. We'll tell you how that'll affect things coming up here a little bit later in the show.
All right, Mike, thank you. In Firewatch now, crews have contained a small brush fire between some houses in Sun Valley. All right, as you can see on our pinpoint map, the Leon fire broke out near the intersection of Leon Drive and Gepford Parkway just after 5 o'clock today. The Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District attacked this blaze with 6 brush trucks and 2 water tenders. Washoe County also sent a backhoe to assist the crews too. At this time, fire crews are mopping up, but officials caution people to avoid that area for now.
And firefighters in Douglas County are working on containing a fire in the Pine Nut Mountain Range. The Ruby fire broke out just after noon today southeast of Gardnerville. It's burned about 15 to 20 acres so far, and we're told it's about 10% contained. Residents there have been allowed to return to their homes, but traffic controls remain in place at Our Way and Pine Nut Road number 2. Firefighters say the fire was caused by welding during maintenance work.
We've got an investigator on scene right now up there with the responsible parties, and they appear to be cooperating.
They urge people to use caution whenever outside due to the fire danger.
Meanwhile, the family of a BLM firefighter who was killed when a fire truck crashed on Sunday, tonight they are asking for help with memorial costs. Jacob O'Malley's family says he and his roommate Will Hawkins were killed when their fire truck rolled on Sunday evening. They were trying to raise more than $10,000 to help pay for his memorial, which is currently set for Saturday, though a location has not been finalized just yet. We have a link set up to donate at our website, KTVN.com. By the way, the family says a memorial will also be held in Winnemucca sometime in the future for both of those firefighters.
For the last several months, the city of Reno has been surveying residents about the changes they'd like to see to the city. Tonight, we got to look at those results. The Reno Planning Commission presented its findings on housing and employment this afternoon. The survey reports some big changes in Reno's population, like an increase in the under 35 demographic. It also showed that right now, roughly 2/3 of Reno's population cannot afford the median home price. So that means the city will likely need more high-density, lower-cost housing options. And that will affect the way the city council makes its policies, too.
Making sure that when we have our land use opportunities, is this something the community wants us to do to put it aside for industrial or for commercial?
Tonight, the council voted to accept the findings and move forward with discussion about changes to the master plan.
It's been nearly 45 years since a plane hijacked by DB Cooper landed in Reno. I'm Paul Nelson. Coming up, you'll hear from one officer who was there waiting for it, hoping to arrest the hijacker.
You're watching Channel 2 News at 6:30 with Kristen Remington, Landon Miller, and Mike Alger's Pinpoint 2 forecast.
All right, welcome back. As we told you yesterday, the FBI will no longer investigate the mysterious case of DB Cooper. The skyjacker jumped from a plane with $200,000 on a flight from Seattle to Reno. Paul Nelson joins us live in the studio now after interviewing a retired police officer who met the plane when it landed in Reno. And Paul, this was just the start of a long career for Dick Kirkland, wasn't it?
It was, Landon. Dick Kirkland was the Reno Police Chief, Washoe County Sheriff, and State Director of Public Safety. But in 1971, he was a young police officer when he was called to the airport hoping to arrest DB Cooper.
The runways have been rebuilt and enlarged.
A lot's changed since the night before Thanksgiving, nearly 45 years ago.
Oh, I was just a kid. I mean, I'd only been on 3 years, and I was maybe 24 or so.
That's when Reno police officer Dick Kirkland waited for a plane hijacked by DB Cooper to land in the biggest little city.
And as soon as we got the call to go to the airport, FBI was there, explained to us what was going on, and then of course, we all got kind of jacked up, and we thought, well, maybe we'll have a shot at catching this guy.
DB Cooper had $200,000 in ransom money and 4 parachutes when he ordered the pilot of this Boeing 727 to leave Seattle for Mexico. The hijacker jumped from the plane near the Washington-Oregon border, and the plane landed in Reno with the door open.
When it landed, it was you could see the sparks coming off as it was rolling down the runway.
The plane was surrounded, but nobody knew if Cooper was still on board.
We deployed around it, and we had our snipers in the grass. As I recall, on the south, east, and west end, and then we just waited, and we had our plan of what we were going to do if, in fact, he was still on the plane.
He wasn't, and a massive manhunt was soon underway more than 500 miles away. DB Cooper was never found, but $5,800 of the stolen money was found along the Columbia River in 1980. Kirkland doesn't think he survived the jump.
If they found the money, then of course, I think one of two things happened. He probably, if the money got spilled out into the river, as they said, he probably got stuck up in the trees or plowed in.
While the case was never solved, it did bring some big changes to the Reno Police Department.
The SWAT team in Reno was born from that. So yeah, it was a watershed moment for us.
And Kirkland says a copycat attempted a similar heist right here in Reno a few years later. A man demanded ransom money and jumped from a plane above Washoe Lake. Officers found a car in that area with a USA Paratrooper Association bumper sticker, so they waited there. Sure enough, he walked right up to them 4 hours later with his parachute and the money. Covering the story live in the studio, Paul Nelson, Channel 2 News.
I've never heard that story. That's fascinating. Huh, thanks, Paul. Pokemon Go has been getting gamers active, and some companies are using it to boost sales as well. However, it's causing some issues in the capital city. The Carson City Sheriff's Office is asking Pokemon players to be aware of your surroundings. Zach Mooney spoke with officials today and says the problems are mostly on private property.
Respect the rights of other people on their property and not get so engrossed in it that they're not paying attention to what's going on around them.
The Carson City Sheriff's Office is seeing an increase in calls because of Pokemon Go. They say one woman living near Gonai Road reported 2 people in her backyard searching for virtual animals.
When we're getting the call initially, it's an unknown.
Sergeant Scott McDaniel says deputies are responding to groups of players at businesses at night.
We don't know why there are people around the businesses. We don't know if they're burglarizing it or going to commit a crime or drug deals or what's going on.
And then there's the roads.
Stepping off a curb, you can sprain an ankle, you could stumble into traffic. Don't chase a character. One's bouncing across the street, don't run after it. Same as when you were a kid, you didn't chase the bouncing ball.
Mark Samuels uses his skateboard to catch Pokemon quickly.
Instead of having to walk around or have to try to drive in cars or do anything like that, it's just been like cruising around and enjoying the weather and just catching some Pokemon.
Driving and playing is illegal and dangerous, but McDaniel says even having a passenger play for you is risky.
That's still distracting because you've got the passenger who's taking care of that, and then he's talking to the driver, hey, so-and-so said this, and you're responding to it. So your thought process is switching from that driving back to the attention of the passenger.
Finally, Sergeant McDaniel says avoid dark or unfamiliar areas. Roger Herrera plays with a group of friends during the day.
It's just a game, so I don't want to be in trouble for a little game.
Covering the story, Zach Mooney.
Hey, I got it.
Channel 2 News.
Well, it looks like our skies are going to stay fairly clear throughout the week and the weekend itself, but what will happen to temperatures? We'll find out coming up next.
But first, from dry skin to eyes to sinus problems, our dry climate can take a toll on our bodies. We will tell you how you can feel better coming up.
Welcome back. We live in a dry climate, which can take a toll on our eyes, skin, even sinuses. But there are several things we can all do to make ourselves feel better this time of year, especially. Lots of people use humidifiers in our region. Dry air can aggravate allergies, so having a humidifier can, in return, help with allergies too. Humidifiers work great in the winter time, but during the summertime when air conditioning units are on, well, they basically counteract each other, experts say. Without a humidifier, there are several other over-the-counter options, though. Doctors recommend using a non-perfume lotion for your skin, applying eye drops a couple times a day if you need them, and using a saline nasal wash or something like Vaseline or Polysporin, Neosporin on a regular basis. If you're already on a medication, you'd want to contact your physician first, though, to make sure nothing interferes.
The medications that you can be on can make you much more susceptible to either drying out, becoming slightly dehydrated.
Your doctor may then recommend a lower dosage or spreading out the amount you take throughout the day.
All right, well, this time last year, many parks and golf courses saw significant cutbacks to their water usage, even causing some closures. But this summer, county officials and park goers are celebrating back to normal water allocations.
We're able to irrigate the parks, we're able to keep them open, clean, and safe for the public.
Parks in the area saw a 10 to 20% reduction in water allocation last year, but few were hit as hard as Rancho San Rafael Park. 100% of their allocation from the Highland Ditch was taken away only after 2 weeks in May, back in 2015. The county had to spend thousands of dollars on potable water to keep the main parts of Rancho San Rafael open, but today, water is constantly flowing, as you just saw and see it right there, keeping this once closed pasture and popular dog park wide open.
We take them down to the pond over there and let them swim. They love it. They run through the tall grass and they just love it out here.
Washoe Golf Course is also back to normal water allocations after losing 42% last year.
Now, here's Chief Meteorologist Mike Alger's Pinpoint 2 forecast, broadcast certified by the American Meteorological Society.
Well, it's a good thing that we've had a halfway decent winter there with the water situation, because we're sure not going to get any more over the next 7 days. A lot of blue sky today. We warmed things up, but the winds were not all that strong, and they continue to be relatively mild here. The next 24 hours, I don't expect a lot of wind either, although we do have some breezes coming up for the weekend. 92 degrees at the top of the hour here at the airport. It's only 10% humidity, so yes, our air is very dry out there. Barometer falling off. It'll probably start to rise in another hour or so as the sun goes down. Southeast winds only about 8 miles per hour, which for this time of day after a fairly warm day with a high of 94 is not a lot of wind. That 94 is actually a couple degrees above average for the first time here for a while. 57, we actually start off 1 degree below the norm. Tomorrow, I think we're going to be even warmer, probably the warmest day of the week coming up here as our ridge of high pressure continues to build. Now, looking further on down, the storm track has been quite a ways up here to the north. Everything's just kind of riding up into southern British Columbia. It has drug a few cold fronts and a few systems into Washington state and northern part of Oregon. We do have this one low sitting up here. Now, this thing, by the time we get into the weekend, is going to kind of bump up, shear off, and move down and probably position itself off the northwest coast. Now, that's going to be close enough to start to cool us off a little bit into the weekend. But until that time, we're really not looking at anything coming our direction here. Tomorrow, the high continues to build a little bit. That low is still way too far away to have much effect on us. So fairly light winds, a lot of sunshine, and continued warming coming our direction here. What do we mean by that? Well, even in Bridgeport and Mammoth, you'll get up in the 80s tomorrow. You'll see almost 100 in Hawthorne. Austin getting close to 90s, and I think Ely will reach that number. Northern part of the state, everybody's somewhere in the 90s, low to mid 90s in the north and the east, near 100 degrees in Lovelock and Fallon. Dayton will be at 96. I think we'll be at 97 tomorrow here in the Reno area with over of 60 degrees. 94 in Carson City with temperatures in the mid to lower 80s at Lake Tahoe. Tahoe tonight, 41 for your low with clear skies. Winds will become light. They'll be light throughout the better part of the day tomorrow with a little afternoon breeze out of the west at 10, high at 83 degrees. For Reno, tonight, clear skies, low of 60 degrees. Our winds will also drop off, become light, and they'll stay light for the better portion of the day tomorrow with a warmer high of 97 degrees. Then we go to 96 on Friday. Like I say, we start to feel a little bit that cold front coming in here on Saturday and Sunday, so the winds will pick up. Our highs will drop into the lower 90s. Again, not all unusual there. We have another little thing coming up for the first of next week that may drop us into the 80s briefly before rebounding by the middle of next week.
Nothing but sunny skies. Got to go to Canada to find a cloud.
You have to go to another country to find the first cloud.
Right. All right.
Thanks,
Thank you, Mike.
Coming up on Channel 2 News at 6:30, the homeless problem isn't just limited to humans. Many canines are homeless too. We'll show you how local veterinarians are helping after the break. You got it.
Looking to our community now, a local animal hospital is providing veterinary care for pets of the homeless here in Reno.
That's right, and the free clinic is offered several times a year. Andy Guevara has more.
Look at his pupillary light reflex.
Dr. Michelle Brim is donating her services today as she examines cats and dogs outside the homeless shelter in downtown Reno. It's part of a free clinic offered by VCA Lakeside Animal Hospital.
Wellness exams, any basic medications, nail trims. If the doctor decides acupuncture and some chiropractic would be helpful, we will do that.
The services are offered free of charge to the men and women, many of whom live on the streets so as not to be separated from his or her pet.
So this is Bear. Bear's my service dog that's in retirement phase. He's going on 10 years old.
A grant from the Pets of the Homeless of Carson City helps cover some of the expenses, but the rest of the costs are donated by VCA Lakeside that has offices in Northwest Reno.
Animal care is just as important as human health care, and Bear's kind of like my kid.
And really, they should all see a veterinarian every year, just like we try to see our human doctor every year. So we want them to be well. We don't want to see them suffer, and we don't want them to be in pain.
Free pet food was also given out, and VCA Lakeside will offer the next free clinic for the pets of the homeless in the fall. Covering the story, Andy Guevara, Channel 2 News.
Still to come on Channel 2 News at 7 o'clock, the lives of 2 Dallas police officers were honored today. We will tell you how the Reno Police Department showed their respect for those fallen officers.
Check, check. 1, 2, 3, 4.
They are going to be going to one of the tumultuous.
This is Channel 2 News, coverage you can count on.
They are going to be going to one of the tumultuous, perhaps the most tumultuous conventions of the Republican Party's history.
And all Nevada is sending 27 delegates to the Republican National Convention in Cleveland, and those delegates are getting ready too. Campaign 2016 tops Channel 2 News at 7 o'clock. All right, Cleveland preparations are well underway for next week's Republican National Convention. Some of the committee members for the convention are there as well. What they're doing is they're voting on platform planks and dealing with those last-minute details because it's only next week.
Right.
It's coming up.
Days away.
Good evening, I'm Landon Miller.
I'm Kristen Remington. Thanks for being with us tonight, and you can watch some of it right here on Channel 2 at 7 o'clock next week. Aaron Breen joins us live from the newsroom with more on those preparations underway. Aaron, what'd you learn?
Well, as you guys just mentioned, we're going to be sending 27 delegates to Cleveland, and you may not realize it, but every delegate is themselves responsible for getting there and for paying for their own hotel rooms and all their other expenses. It doesn't come from the party. That is a lot just to take part in the convention. But delegates are committed to the cause and to this upcoming trip.
Delegates like Ryder Haig, who's packing to leave early Friday morning. He just turned 19. What he lacks in age, he makes up for in enthusiasm just to be a part of something this big.
It's astronomical. I mean, it not only just the delegates, but how many people are needed to be able to run an event like this. It's just unbelievable. There'll be thousands of people fighting and getting ready and working and interviewing each other, and it'll be a lot of fun.
But it may not be all fun and games. It could get contentious, given the lack of support that the party has given to Donald Trump. In fact, an estimated 500 delegates have said that they don't plan to cast their ballots for him.
Some delegates that are trying to be the unbound delegates, so I do expect some fighting or some arguments there, but I'm not really worried about it.
There's a feeling that once they get on the floor, once there is an energy felt about this fear of what Donald Trump's candidacy could do to the Republican Party long term, that they're going to get more defections. And so the first thing the Trump forces have to do is try to keep that from happening.
Today, equipment for the convention was delivered. And amid the tables and the chairs were some open concerns for what will be going on outside the convention center as well. Police in Cleveland are ready.
People in this state have a right to open carry. There is a Second Amendment to the Constitution. We understand that. And our officers are prepared. They're used to seeing that in downtown Cleveland for different events.
And Landon, as you said, the convention starts next Monday on the 18th. It runs through the 21st in Cleveland. Covering campaign 2016, Aaron Breen, Channel 2 News.
All right, Aaron, thank you. And please remember to keep it here for continuing coverage of the upcoming conventions, both of them, and all the latest in our campaign 2016 continuing coverage.
Now, here's Chief Meteorologist Mike Alger's first look at the Pinpoint 2 forecast.
Well, absolutely a gorgeous Chamber of Commerce day up at Lake Tahoe or down here in the Reno area. A lot of sunshine, very light winds so far here today and probably tomorrow as well as we see our temperatures reach their maximum for the week here. Now, we do cool things down a little bit over the weekend and that may bring a little wind into our area, but all in all, it's still a pretty sunny and fairly pleasant forecast if you like midsummer type temperatures. Today, they did get above the 90-degree mark, and they did so fairly healthily. 94 was our high here in Reno, 81 at South Lake. Lots of 90s across the west here. Notice Redding did get into triple digits, so we still have, usually indicates that we have even warmer temperatures possibly coming our direction. And that's a possibility here as we look at what's going on. This low way up here to the north is kind of following this train of ones that have been going through the northern part of the northwest southern part of British Columbia. Now this low is going to sneak in and get a little closer to us by the weekend. That may start to kick up a little wind by that time as we start to cool things off. But all in all, a lot of sunshine and still temperatures in the 90s throughout. We'll tell you all the details coming up here a little later.
In Crime Beat tonight, the community has stepped in to help Hug High School after thousands of dollars worth of baseball equipment was stolen. School police have been investigating a burglary that happened on the baseball field late last month. Roughly $1,500 worth of gloves, baseballs, bats, and uniforms were taken. And just in the last 24 hours, the team has been fielding calls from people who want to help get them new gear.
We were able to get enough money from some generous donors to secure the equipment that we need.
By the way, the players can now look forward to the next season of baseball because they're getting some gear there. And in the meantime, the school is still searching for that original equipment.
And also in Crime Beat, a $1,000 reward is now being offered for information leading to an arrest in connection with that commercial burglary at the Granite Construction Southeast Connector job site. Investigators believe the burglary happened sometime during the 4th of July weekend. Police say stolen items included generators, tools, and other construction equipment. This is expensive. It's valued at almost $100,000. If you know anything that can help detectives here, call Secret Witness at 322-4900.
Secret Witness is also offering a $1,500 reward in connection with an armed robbery that happened early yesterday morning. Reno police say a man entered the Chevron on Arlington just after midnight Tuesday morning, holding an employee at gunpoint and demanding money. That suspect is described as a man between 35 and 40. He's about 5'10", wearing a dark hat, a dark colored shirt, and jeans. And if you know anything, call or text Secret Witness at the numbers on your screen.
Sparks police have arrested a man suspected of a fatal shooting back in February. Investigators arrested 19-year-old Samuel Turnow last week. He's suspected of shooting 23-year-old Rodney Wright inside a car on Pyramid Way. This was back on February 12th. Wright later died from his injuries sustained during those shootings. Turnow is now being charged with involuntary manslaughter. In Firewatch, crews have contained a small brush fire between houses in Sun Valley. The Leon fire broke out near the intersection of Leon Drive and Gepford Parkway just after 5 o'clock tonight. The Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District attacked the blaze with 6 brush trucks and 2 water tenders. Washoe County also sent a backhoe to assist and create fire breaks, a fire line there. At this time, fire crews are mopping up, but officials caution people to avoid the area for now.
Meanwhile, firefighters in Douglas County are working to contain a fire in the Pine Nut Mountain Range. All right, take a look. The Ruby Fire broke out just after noon today, southeast of Gardnerville. So far, it's burned about 20 acres and is 10% contained. Residents have been allowed to return to their homes, but traffic controls are still in place at Out Our Way and Pine Nut Road number 2. Firefighters say the fire was actually caused by welding during maintenance work.
We've got an investigator on scene right now up there with the responsible parties, and they appear to be cooperating.
And of course, they urge people to use caution whenever outside due to that fire danger.
The family of a BLM firefighter who was killed in a fire truck crash on Sunday is asking for help with memorial costs. Jake O'Malley and his roommate Will Hawkins were killed when their fire truck rolled Sunday evening. O'Malley's family is now hoping to raise about $10,000 to pay for his memorial, which is currently set for Saturday, although a location has not yet been finalized. If you'd like to donate, we have a link set up for you on our website, as well as information about that memorial. Just go to KTVN.com and click on the blue News Links button. The family says a memorial will also be held in Winnemucca sometime in the future for both firefighters.
Look around the nation now. Thousands from across the country, including the Reno Police Department, turned out in Dallas, where funerals were held for 3 of the 5 Dallas police officers killed in the line of duty. You hear it there. A gun salute honored Dallas Rapid Transit police officer Brent Thompson, one of 5 Dallas police officers killed by a sniper during a peaceful protest last Thursday. The 43-year-old former Marine and father of 6 was married just a few weeks ago to a fellow officer.
Brent was a fighter, warrior, hero, and quite the scrapper.
A funeral mass was also held at the same time for Sergeant Michael Smith, and a sea of police officers attended the funeral for Lorne Aarons. Now, the Reno police officers in Dallas are part of the department's honor guard. They will be there for the next several days, honoring those lives.
Coming up on Channel 2 News at 7, a local animal hospital is offering free care to pets of the homeless. We'll have all the details coming up.
And still, the sky is expected to remain cloudless right through the weekend, but that doesn't mean the temperatures will continue to rise. We'll tell you why coming up right after this.
First, today, Reno City Council considered changes to its master plan. What they decided, if anything, after the break.
You're watching Channel 2 News at 7 with Kristen Remington, Landon Miller, sports with Garrett Dearborn, and Mike Alger's Pinpoint 2 forecast.
For the last several months, the city of Reno has been surveying residents about the changes they'd like to see to the city. Tonight, we have a look at some of the results. The Reno Planning Commission presented its findings on housing and employment this afternoon. The survey reports some big changes to Reno's population, in particular, an increase in the under 35 demographic. It also showed that right now, roughly 2/3 of Reno's population cannot afford the median housing price. So that means the city will likely need more high-density, lower-cost housing options. And that will affect the way the city council makes its policies.
Making sure that when we have our land use opportunities, is this something the community wants us to do, to put it aside for industrial or for commercial?
Tonight, the city council voted to accept the findings and move forward with the discussion about changes to its master plan.
Meanwhile, a local animal hospital is providing veterinary care for pets of the homeless in Reno. The free clinic is offered several times a year, and today the clinic was held outside of the downtown shelters run by Volunteers of America. VCA Lakeside Animal Hospital provides wellness exams, basic medications, nail trims, even acupuncture. Yeah. Even if the dogs need acupuncture, all free of charge to local cats and dogs. Now, this is what we're told. It is a community service that the entire team of veterinary Dr. Michelle Brim feel very passionate about.
The idea of Dr. Michelle Brim, because we see a lot of homeless folks with their animals around town, and we know they're not getting regular veterinary care.
Did you see the cat?
So
right,
cute.
Right. Free pet food was also being given away. VCA Lakeside will offer the next free clinic for pets of the homeless later this fall.
Well, don't expect to see any clouds anytime soon, but also don't expect to see those temperatures continue to rise. We'll tell you why coming up right after this.
And parks in Washoe County have more water this year compared to last summer. The good news after the break.
Well, they play some pretty good baseball in Northwest Reno. That's what I hear anyway, as all three all-star teams of Reno American Little League, age groups 10, 11, and 12, have advanced to the state championship. We'll hear from them ahead in sports.
I can probably do 2:30 if pressed and asked nicely. Okay.
All right, welcome back. This time last year, many parks and golf courses, of course, were seeing significant cutbacks to their water usage, even causing some closures.
Yeah, to the dismay of many dog owners, remember?
And golfers, too.
That's right. Nice sound effect. But this summer, county officials and park goers are celebrating back to normal water allocations.
We're able to irrigate the parks. We're able to keep them open, clean, and safe for the public.
Beautiful. Parks in the area saw a 10 to 20% reduction in water allocation last year, but few were hit as hard as Rancho San Rafael Park. 100% of its allocation from the Highland Ditch was taken away only after, 2 weeks in May of 2015. The county had to spend thousands of dollars on potable water to keep the main parts of Rancho San Rafael open. But today, water is constantly flowing, as you just saw on your screen, keeping this once closed pasture and popular dog park wide open.
We take them down to the pond over there and let them swim. They love it. They run through the tall grass and they just love it out here.
Oh, yours is better. Washoe County Course is also back to normal with water allocations after losing 42% this time last year.
Now, here's Chief Meteorologist Mike Alger's Pinpoint 2 forecast, broadcast certified by the American Meteorological Society.
Well, it looks like the sunny skies that we see here today are going to continue for the next 7 days. What is going to change a little bit are some of these temperatures. Now, today they definitely warmed up. We're still at 92 degrees at the 7 o'clock hour. Only 9% relative humidity. The air is very, very dry. Barometer is falling, but we'll turn around and start to rise once the sun goes down. And our winds about as strong as they've been all day long here out of the north-northwest at 15 miles per hour. High of 94 and a low of 57 degrees, 2 degrees above average on the high, 1 below the average on the low. No records were threatened at all today, and they're not likely to be tomorrow. What we are going to see are these winds, like I say, dying down tonight, and then if you watch when the wave of the Washoe Zephyr comes in the afternoon, it's going to happen around 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We're not going to even see that much wind by that time, but this is because we're reaching the peak of our temperature curve, and we got a low pressure system way out here that's eventually, by the time Saturday rolls around, it's going to kind of set up just off the Washington State coastline, and that's going to pick up our not only drop our temperatures a little bit, but it will also pick up that pressure gradient a little bit and give us a little bit higher winds in the afternoon over the weekend. So be careful if you're out on the area waters as a result. For tomorrow, it almost looks the same as today. You see everything staying way to the north of us. Big Ridge continues on Friday with temperatures still. You can start to see that thing begin to push in a little bit here by the time we get on into late Friday. Now, temperature-wise tomorrow, we'll be in the 80s or 90s almost everywhere you look, certainly down the south, well into triple digits down in Las Vegas. Northern part here, upper 90s, Lovelock and Fallon, they'll be pushing 100. We'll be in the 90s pretty much everywhere else. Reno, 60 tonight, a little bit warmer. A little warmer tomorrow for our high as well. 97, 94 in Carson City with mid-80s at Lake Tahoe. Neighborhood temperatures at this point, everybody getting down somewhere into the 50s overnight and then climbing back up well into the 90s, unless you're up the hill at Galena, you'd be 89 there. Mid to upper 90s most everywhere else. Tahoe tomorrow, sunny, light morning winds, a little west breeze in the afternoon, a nice warm 83 degrees. For Reno, 97 with sunshine, and our winds will be light tomorrow with just a little afternoon breeze late in the day. After that, we look at temperatures to stay in the 90s here by the time we get into Friday. Lower 90s then with a little bit of wind as we cool down, and we may even drop into the upper 80s by the 1st of next week.
All right, Mike, good week to go golfing, right?
I think so.
That's
We're
the
trying
ball.
to, yeah.
I know, it hasn't worked yet.
We tried.
All right,
Trying
thank
so
you.
hard. Thanks, Mike.
The Reno American Little League is sending all 3 of their teams to the state tournament in Elko in a couple weeks. I'm Dallas Colladi, and hear from them coming up in sports.
Test, test, test.
Now, here's Sports Director Garrett Dearborn with Channel 2 Sports.
Well, if you hadn't heard, they play some pretty good baseball in Northwest Reno, as all three all-star teams of Reno American Little League, age groups 10, 11, and 12, all advanced to the state championship in Elko after winning the District 1 title last weekend. Dallas Kolodny went over to Rob Drive to check out these young ball players.
It's a lot of fun. Definitely better than just sitting at the pool.
That is because Robbie Snelling and the rest of the Reno American All-Star Little League teams get to keep playing baseball this summer with their friends. All three teams took home the championship in the Nevada District 1 playoffs last weekend and are now headed to the state tournament.
It's really good. It's nice. Our team has worked really hard to get here. We knew that we had a good team from the start. We just had to keep it rolling.
It feels great just knowing how good we are playing as a team. Oh, this is so fun. I love making new friendships with people along the way, too.
And with all three all-star teams advancing to the Nevada State Little League Championships, it has created a new feeling of camaraderie in their community.
Absolutely. You know, Northwest Reno has really pulled together, and, you know, Reno American is the framework of Northwest Reno, and all our families, you know, all feed into this and the schools. And, you know, it's very special when the entire league is represented at every single age level and to have this kind of success.
Yeah, I think it definitely has. It's a tight-knit community up here in Northwest Reno, and it definitely brings everyone together when you got this many families taking part of it.
Now for the 11 and 12-year-olds behind me, they have a chance to go to the Little League World Series in Williamsport. Now, there's still a ways to go before they can qualify for that, but they say that would be a dream come true.
That would be a lot of fun, but just need to take it step by step and win each game that we play.
We're definitely going to have to play as a team and play great defense and hit the ball good. That would be great, just knowing that we made it that far. That would be awesome.
You really can't look that far ahead. You got to look one game at a time. Can't look too far ahead, but it would take a lot for these guys to get there, and it would be an honor.
The Nevada State Little League Championships are in Elko beginning on July 21st. Dallas Kolodny, Channel 2 Sports.
And this just wrapped up. Tonight's AAA All-Star game in Charlotte had a couple aces factoring in for the Pacific Coast League. One of them, Kyle Jensen, the starting right fielder for the PCL. The single here in the fourth. Jensen was one for two, with a walk and a run scored. And how about for Wolfpack star Braden Shipley, the D-backs top pitching prospect, got touched up for a homer in the first batter he faced in the fourth, made it a 2-2 game. Shipley gave up one run on one hit and struck out two in his inning of work, but his team loses 4-2.
Still cool for him.
Yep.
Nice to watch.
We'll be right back.
Yes. Do they run the tick? Well, I guess Major League Baseball isn't playing. Why, you got to do something? I think, as far as I know, we probably could. But every now and then something.
Yoga soccer camps or?
You making water?
It's all about, I'm trying to texturize the back first.
Yeah, we could.
It'll take some time, but.
That's really
You know what, Sterling? If you want to do it after the show, we can do it. Because nothing's going to change. Okay.
Also, you.
All right, Mike.
Yeah.
How's the weather?
It's pretty simple.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, it is. Still sunny right on throughout. A little windy this weekend. Temperatures dropping by the first of next week into the 80s, and then we'll start to creep our way back into the 90s by the middle of the week.
After all those red flag days, this is a welcome sight,
not
right?
too bad.
Nice break.
Your
Thanks
next
for being with us.
newscast is at 11.
Deborah Norville does not age.
Mm-hmm.
The Reno American Little League is sending all 3 of their teams to the state tournament in Elko in a couple weeks. I'm Dallas Colladi, and hear from them coming up in sports.
And good morning, everyone. I'm Garrett Dearborn, and we are talking a little Little League baseball up in Northwest Reno. They have 3 all-star teams of Reno American Little League, age groups 10, 11, and 12, advancing to the state championships in Elko after winning the District 1 title last weekend. Dallas Colladi went up to Rob Drive to find out about these young ball players.
It's a lot of fun. Definitely better than just sitting at the pool.
That is because Robbie Snelling and the rest of the Reno American All-Star Little League teams get to keep playing baseball this summer with their friends. All 3 teams took home the championship in the Nevada District 1 playoffs last weekend and are now headed to the state tournament.
It's really good. It's nice. Our team has worked really hard to get here. We knew that we had a good team from the start. We just had to keep it rolling.
It feels great just knowing how good we are playing as a team. Oh, this is so fun. I love making new friendships with people along the way, too.
And with all 3 all-star teams advancing to the Nevada State Little League